Speaking of things to look forward to, Supergirl. It's coming out June 26th. We're days away, so it's time for our usual fun that we get to have with predicting what we think is going to happen in the movie. This, by the way, harkens all the way back to one of our earliest pods when James Gunn made the Suicide Squad movie, and we knew so many people are going to die, so it was so much fun predicting who's going to die. Obviously, we're expecting most people to live that we see in this movie, but let's start when it comes to Supergirl with, I think, this really critical context. Where are our expectations for what we're hoping to see out of this movie? And in particular, how good do we, this is really simple, but how good do we think it's actually going to be? This is Supergirl's first true big screen performance. I want to say they dropped the Supergirl movie like in the late 80s, but since I can hardly remember, it wasn't that great. Yeah, it was just one of those, let's pretend that didn't exist. Kind of like the original Fantastic Four movie from the late 80s, early 90s. Like, let's just all agree that never happened. So anyway, what do you think, Beans? What's your expectation going into this in a couple
I'd
weeks?
say your biggest point of reference for Supergirl is going to be the CW show,
Yeah.
which I've seen none of.
Yep.
But I heard it wasn't too bad. I don't
Had a
know.
good run.
I couldn't tell you. It did, what, 3 seasons?
All those CW shows, kind of have that, like, none of them are bad.
Right.
None of them are, you're going to watch and go, this is phenomenal television.
But you're also on the CW's budget.
Yes.
So you're limited on what you can do.
Yeah, like I remember years ago now, it's probably at least 10 years ago, watching the first season of The Flash show that was on the CW. It was really good. It was super engaging. I didn't stick with it after season 1, but season 1 is like, hey, that's a pretty fun introduction to the character. That was cool.
Right.
So
I think with this movie, I just really want them to dial in and make her feel completely different from Clark.
Mm-hmm.
I think with these clone characters, and clone's probably a tough word here, but the characters with all the similar power sets.
Yep. Similar powers, different names.
Right. Back in the day, they kind of are cookie cutter, right? And so I want them to lean on her more emotional side, right? I mean, we got the emotional side to Clark in his, but I want them to really lean into her instability, if you will.
Yep.
Because she's not mentally well in this, and they show that. So I think we're going to be able to see the short fuse in her, and by the end of it, hopefully she can come to peace with everything that's been happening by saving crypto, right? So I just really want them to focus in on like, okay, she's different. That's my big hope, right? So we're going to get the hero's journey. Yeah. That's very typical here, but that is, I guess that's my big ask from this.
Yeah,
So.
I love that, and I'm fully on board with, so consider that seconded. And for me, my ask would be, hey, keep the scale small. Now, how can the scale be small when we're jumping from planet to planet? Fair. I mean more in terms of the character scope, right? I think one of the temptations and risks when you're introducing a character that up to this point hasn't been, like, Supergirl's not on the same level of recognition and even fan appreciation that like a Wonder Woman is, right? There's a reason Wonder Woman got a feature film, a couple of them, before Supergirl, all right? But now that we're leaning into the Supergirl angle, I think the temptation can be to litter the movie with all kinds of other characters. Like, we're already getting Lobo mixed in here. And for as much as I think it'd be fun if they, oh, look, there's Martian Manhunter. That'd be kind of a neat drop. But also, like, don't do that, right? Like, this should be truly a Supergirl movie. And the characters that you include in this movie around her have to serve the very important function of drawing out and developing who she is, right? Just like you said, we need to understand by seeing, not by being told, but by seeing how she has come to be who she is in this moment in time, right? And that's one of the most critical elements of any good storytelling and any good character development is you can't just tell us, oh, so-and-so went through this or experienced that. You've got to show it. And based on the little snippets we've seen in the marketing, it looks like this movie's going to take its time with showing Kara's experience with Krypton's destruction. And while I think all of us as fans were really grateful that we didn't get any of Krypton in the Superman movie, right? Like we've seen that recently with as recently as the Man of Steel, even going as far back as the OG Superman movie. Okay, we didn't need that. couple years ago, but we do need and actually want that now with the just last summer with this Supergirl movie, because her experience with Krypton's destruction is so different than anything we've seen with Superman, who as an infant has literally no memory of the instance, right? His first living memories are on planet Earth, whereas Kara spent really important formative years on Krypton and then had to go through that tragedy, had to live it out, watching everybody around her die. So there's potential for this to be a really strong and powerful way to develop her character, is by showing that and taking the time. And so I'm just hoping, that's my biggest ask, like, don't rush and don't take away time from Kara by plugging in all these other auxiliary characters that we'll get to eventually. We know we will. Like, James Gunn is a big character guy. He loves his character. So I'll be curious if they can stay governed enough to not have 8 other characters pop up. Like, we're getting Lobo. There's probably going to be 1 or 2 others that we haven't seen, but let's not get, if there's ever a time to stay fairly limited, I think it's this movie.
Yeah, and I agree entirely. And I think Lobo can be your guy to kind of anchor the cast of characters.
Yeah, and provide some levity. Right. Yeah.
So I will be very curious how they do Krypton here, just because, like you said, we didn't get a lot in Superman. We just know that his parents are actually not good people, which is a plot twist that I don't think any of us saw coming, right? But we didn't
Still working through that personally.
Right. So we didn't get too much from Clark.
Yeah.
And now, you know, because you go back to old Superman movies and they always show Krypton blowing up and they send in a rocket and here we go.
Yep.
We get to actually see, okay, were her parents good people? Bad people? What are we dealing with on that front?
Yeah.
Do we actually get to see what blew up Krypton? Is that going to be Brainiac setting up for Superman 2? Is that what we're going to get?
Great
or are they going to give it to somebody else to build that up later?
Yeah. Right.
I have a lot of questions on that front of how this is going to tie into the second Superman, if at all.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
It depends on if she's going to be in it. I would be surprised if she wasn't in the second Superman movie.
Yeah.
So, like, we got questions on that front.
Yeah.
So I kind of hope, in a weird way, they do build the rogues gallery a little bit rather than
That's a good thought.
the
like
heroes, right? Because the first Superman did a really great job at building up the heroes on Earth around Superman.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So to have, like, these little teases of, oh, here are the villains that are going to be coming after Clark here pretty soon.
Yep.
And maybe Kara as well. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm very curious on that front because let's be honest, the main villain in this is probably going to die and nobody's going to care.
No.
Because he's not that prominent of a villain.
Right.
Like you said, he had his little one-off in that story for Supergirl.
He was introduced for the purpose of this particular story.
Yes, and then never shows up again as far as we're aware. So I'm guessing Lobo does the job because I'm going to guess Supergirl's going to have her moment where she almost kills him, right? And she's going to almost kill him, but she's like, I can't for Clark. And then
Lobo goes, I got it.
Yep. And then Lobo hook, and it's over.
Yep.
So, which is perfect because it sets up Lobo's character and it sets up Supergirl's character arc throughout this entire movie. Because I guarantee you she's going to be very close to killing a couple of people if she doesn't off the rip. So... And again, that's what I mean. I want the differences between Kara and Clark to be very prominent.
Yeah.
For these to work. So.
Yeah. I totally agree, and I love that prediction. I think it's going to be scary how accurate that probably is here in a couple of weeks. Overall, because I know we got to keep moving. Overall, my hope for this movie is that I'm not expecting it to be spectacular, okay? I am expecting it to be tidy, right? To be well done, not rushed, not microwaved. Like, I'm expecting to walk out here and go, cool, that was really solid, right? I will be bummed if I'm walking out of the theater going, ooh, we didn't really think several of those steps through, did we? And we made it to the finish line, but we dropped the baton once or twice, and nobody's really excited that they saw that. So just, like, make the layups. You don't have to do anything outrageous, so to speak. I think it's all about character development here.
I want this movie to be what Captain Marvel should have been.
Yep.
I think that's the best way to put it, right?
For sure.
No,
for sure.
We're not the audience for Supergirl or Captain
Not
Marvel.
the primary audience,
right?
no question.
We don't really care. But when I go into Captain Marvel and I get in that movie, I got one personality and there was no flexing of emotions, and it's I'm better than you and the whole movie.
Yep.
And from what I can already tell by this trailer with Supergirl, we're not going to get that. She's all over the place on the emotional scale,
there you go.
which is great. Let her act. That's a part of the gig.
Yeah.
So I just want to come out of that movie and be like, I want more of that.
Yep.
That's what I want.
Yep.
I want to
spend more time with that character.
Right. I want to see her show up in Superman 2. I don't want to come into that and be like, I could do without Supergirl for another 3 movie rotations, right? So, and with Captain Marvel, to their credit, I thought the second one was a lot better.
Big improvement.
They gave her a lot, again, that more emotional depth and range. So as long as they stay away from the one emotion, I'm better than you.
Yeah.
I don't think that's what that's going to be.
Yep.
I really want the anger. Like, I really do. Because that's what makes Supergirl great. Give her the Red Lantern storyline at some point, right? Let her deal with it. But yeah, let her be the short fuse.
Yeah.
That Clark
let her
has
see
to
red and go.
Right. That makes Clark be like, all right, we got to reel her in just a little bit.
Whoa.
Because that's fun for Clark, right? That's fun for us to be like, oh,
no question.
Okay, that's a fun dynamic. So, yes, that's my big ask.
Yeah, no, that's great. I love it. All right, well, we're looking forward to Supergirl June 26th, coming in hot very soon.